My brothers and sisters, the Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. On leaving the synagogue, Jesus entered the house of Simon and Andrew with James and John. Simon's mother-in-law lay sick with a fever. They immediately told him about her. He approached, grasped her hand, and helped her up. Then the fever left her, and she waited on them. When it was evening, after sunset, they brought to him all who were ill or possessed by demons. The whole town was gathered at the door. He cured many who were sick with various diseases and drove out many demons, not permitting them to speak because they knew him. Rising very early before dawn, he left and went off to a deserted place where he prayed. Simon and those who were with him pursued him, and on finding him said, "Everyone is looking for you." He told them, "Let us go on to the nearby villages, that I may preach there also. For this purpose have I come." So he went into their synagogues, preaching and driving out demons throughout the whole of Galilee. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
The Gospel of Mark is a very interesting book. It's the first of the Gospels in our canon, and it's also the shortest. But there's a word that's used very frequently in that Gospel. We heard it this morning in this reading. That word is immediately. Mark uses the word immediately 41 times in his short Gospel, which is more than the entire rest of the Bible combined. Why would that be? Mark was writing to people who were not Jewish. He was writing to the Gentiles and trying to convince them that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. Now, if we were to take the Gospel of Mark and set it kind of in today's mindset, you might think of the Gospel of Mark as an action movie. And of course, every action movie has to have a superhero. That's Jesus. Because in this Gospel, there is no pause between the action. Jesus is driving out demons and curing the blind and healing the sick and on and on and on without a pause. Except one little one we heard this morning where he went off to pray. Now the problem with seeing Jesus only in that light is it diminishes who Jesus Christ really was. He was so much more than just a wonderful healer, a miracle worker. He was the Son of God. But by looking at just this action movie sense of who Jesus was, we've reduced him kind of to a single data point. Just one factor of who Jesus is. And of course we know that he was so much more than that. But as humans, don't we have that kind of habit of doing that to people? To meeting them? To getting a first impression and saying that's who they are? We reduce them to a single point. That's part of our nature, I think. As an example, I work for a wonderful man. He has brown skin. Some people will see that and judge him by that fact. This man is also Muslim. Again, people may see that and judge who he is based on the fact that he's Muslim. He's a corporate executive, which puts him pretty high in the organization. Again, another way to look at and judge this man. But I'll tell you one thing. I've worked for him for 2 years now, and I've gotten to know him well. And none of those things come even close to describing who he is. He's a warm, generous, loving, faith-filled man. And even those words don't really describe him. We have this habit, at least I do, when I introduce myself to someone. They'll say, "Hi, I'm so-and-so, who are you?" And I'll say, "Hi, I'm Dan," and I could list a lot of things. I'm a deacon. I'm a husband. I'm a father, a grandfather, a martial artist, an astronomer, an IT geek, you name it. I can list all of these things. But even in sum total, they don't add up to who I am. The real answer that we should all give, and it's very hard because I know it's going to turn some people off, but when we introduce ourselves to someone, probably the best description we would say is, "Hi, I'm Dan. I'm a child of God." That is who we are in our essence. Like I say, some people are going to just turn and walk away when we say that. They're not comfortable with that kind of language. But really, that's who we are. See, Jesus had this wonderful ability to look at a person and see the whole person. When he sat at the well with a woman, he didn't see just a woman who had had 5 husbands. He saw an outcast, a person who was hurting, a person who needed to be reintegrated to the community. When he looked and he saw a leper, he didn't see a person with a disease. He saw, again, another outcast, another person who'd been pushed aside. When he looked at Matthew, he didn't see just a tax collector. He saw a disciple. When he saw Zacchaeus up in the tree, he saw much more than a short person who wanted to see him. He saw a man with whom he wanted to spend the evening and have dinner. See, Jesus doesn't reduce us to anything. Jesus sees us in our fullness. Not as we are now, but as we can be. And that's the gift we need to give ourselves. The ability to see that in those around us. To see that Jesus is alive and working in every person that we meet. That can be tough. It's really difficult to deal with some people. But you know what the toughest one is? Saying that to the person that looks back at you out of the mirror. Because we are so hard on ourselves. We forget that one basic fact about who we are. We forget that we are truly children of God.